welcome, welcome. As always, those subscriptions are the best way you can start what I do here. You have the 3-month sub badge now. Thank you. Thanks for coming back again and again and again. Is this hand good enough? This is probably fine. Hopefully we're playing against like the True-Name is good against. If we're not, we can potentially Brainstorm it away. I think I'm going to keep this. If our opponent's playing a combo deck, it's going to kind of suck. But again, when you're playing these kind of fair interactive decks in Legacy, sometimes you're just going to get got. Seems pretty good against turn 1 Aether Vial. So, if I lead on Volk and they Wasteland me, I feel really bad. I think I'm going to lead on Basic Mountain and go Swiftspear into Probe here. Get our auto yield onto that one. No Wasteland, no second land. Okay. Double Thalia. The hand's pretty good other than being Landlight, though. That's for sure. Really want them to miss on this land drop here. So that way next turn we can go Brainstorm plus Bolt. You're facing a Cow Panda. What does a Cow Panda look like? What is the... Sweet. No land is good for us. Looks pretty good. I think I'm going to Brainstorm just because my next couple of turns are going to be playing True-Name Nemesis, so I might as well like get my prowess trigger in here. As well just like get this trigger in. I'm going to stack... Huh. What am I doing? Do I want a Thunderous Wrath 2 turns from now? Do I want a Thunderous Wrath 2 turns from now? I feel like I might. They're going to get a Thalia into play next turn, though, which kind of sucks. So I kind of want to shuffle some of this stuff away. Maybe I just want to shuffle the Thunderous Wrath. This is why this card's a little bit awkward, right? Because like, it's not completely free even with the Brainstorms. All right, I'm going to put back Wrath and Probe for now and leave myself the option to shuffle. So we'll attack them for 2. They'll end step, put the Mom into play, and then we'll bolt it. And then hopefully, even with the Thalia, we're going to be able to just like go True-Name, and then just like run off to the races here. Smasher is bad. Josh Ojush with the 2-month free subscription. Thank you very much for the continued support and welcome back. Thanks for sending your Amazon fun money this way again this month. I do appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So their hand right now is Thalia, Revoker, Mother of Runes, Mirian Crusader. Or sorry, they don't have Mother. They have Thalia, Revoker, Mirian Crusader. Now 2 cards I don't know. So we'll probably see them cast a Thalia here. Yeah, usually they don't have pre-board answers to it. There is an owl in my hex card. It in fact makes an owl, basically. Grimmalvamancer. Okay, I assume this is going to be a Thalia come down. So now the real question is, do I want to offer this, do I want to attack in here? I think I do. I think I'm going to go ahead and play this Delta out, and then I'm gonna go ahead and attack with this, and if they want to block here, I'll cast Brainstorm and eat their Thalia, but I think this is just a free point of damage on this attack here. If they block with Revoker, I think I'm just gonna let them trade and then cast True-Name. Oh, they're double blocking. Oh, that makes sense. Huh. So they have another Thalia. Do I want to... I don't really want to get behind here, right? So maybe this attack was just bad. I didn't think about them double blocking. So that was a good play on the opponent's part for sure. We'll fetch a basic island here and go ahead and just windmill this True-Name, and hopefully the power level of our busted blue card here will carry us through the rest of this game. Sometimes these decks have, usually they have Sword of Fire and Ice in the main deck to get past True-Name Nemesis, but outside of that, usually they're pretty cold to this card game one. Their option is essentially just race it. So, like, this is why there's 2 True-Names in this deck. Like, this is a card this archetype wasn't really playing when other people were playing this deck, and I don't know why they weren't playing it. Like, True-Name is just like, play the busted legacy cards. Like, True-Name is a big part of the reason why this this color is so busted in half in Legacy, so let's just like play into it. Alright, sweet. So we get to put this True-Name down. They have a Mirian Crusader in their hand that we know about. I choose you again, but not a whole lot going on other than that. There could be an argument to like playing the Probe here for mana since I have it, but I think I'd rather just like wait and cast this Brainstorm next turn. Yeah, I mean, it's basically just like it's a 3 damage burn spell every turn, right? It's like this unblockable, unkillable thing. Just like 3U, 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 3U. Just like super consistent. Just like it does what you know it's going to do. You know what it's going to do. It's going to do it really well. Opponent has seen our True-Names and has had enough. All right, so what are we doing here? So we have Null Rod and we have Smash to Smithereens. We have Sulfuric Vortex. These Dazes and these Force of Wills are not particularly good. No, I'm only on 2 True-Names. Like a true savage, I'm only on 2 True-Names. 2 True-Names. I think I'm just leaving in 2 Forces. I really don't have other cards to cut. I don't think I want Blood Moon in this matchup against the mono white deck. No, it does nothing. It does nothing. So Sulfuric Vortex may seem like a weird card to bring in here, but in a way, this card answers Batterskull and Jite because it answers the parts of the card that we really care about, which is the health gain. We're basically playing a glorified burn deck. So my sideboard right now is not well constructed for Death and Taxes. If you're expecting a lot of Death and Taxes and you're playing this deck, you definitely want 2 more cards on the sideboard because ideally you should be able to cut all these Force of Wills. Yeah, True-Name is not very good against combo decks. It's kind of slow and clunky there. Even Price of Progress I'm not super excited to have in my deck in this matchup. Probably does at least 2 there. Afternoon, how's the day going, Moondress? Thank you very much for the bits. I appreciate that. It's going swell. It's going swell. I had a little bit of a brain fart earlier and probably accidentally fired up the stream an hour early, but we're here now and everything is good. I don't think Eidolon is very good here. We generally cast more spells than they do. The Eidolons are in the sideboard for control decks and dedicated combo decks, where we don't mind taking damage from our cantrips. So the Eidolons are there for when they're slam dunks more than anything. I wanted some permanent base disruption against Storm, because this deck's not amazing against Storm. You have some tools, but like having a card like this to lock them out of the game is very good. I think it's better to leave in Force than Daze, especially on the draw in a matchup like this. A lot of times you can like force Plowshares on your Delver of Secrets to like run them down with that. Hey, rocking those sweet decks. Thanks for all the work you do to bring us entertainment, Moondress. Thank you for the 3-month resub in addition to the bits. Welcome back. I do appreciate that. Sounds okay. Sounds okay. What decks do you think gain the most from a Deathrite Shaman ban? I think, honestly, like the Blade decks, Nah, Deathrite Shaman doesn't really cream dredge that much. It's like, it's good against bad dredge, but it's like, it's just okay against LED dredge. Honestly, I think the fair decks that are just like Death and Taxes is actually a deck that's going to gain a lot from a Deathrite Shaman ban, because Deathrite Shaman allows the Delver decks to really deny the resource denial that Death and Taxes is trying to assemble. Our opponent's mulligan to 4 this game, so it's not... Alright, they found a mom. This hand was a little bit soft to turn 1 mom, and then we drew a land because I'm a professional. Just gonna go ahead and fetch a basic mountain here. One of the reasons I really like this Delver Burn deck is because you get to play a nice consistent mana base. You get to play 5 basic lands. Burn is a deck that will get marginally better as well. I agree with that assessment. Diddle my port. Diddle my thing, yep. Alright, and cast this Ponder looking for a land. Those are all pretty good, chat. Those are all pretty good. Yeah. Nope. What's going on, Steam Flogger? Yeah, mid-range loam decks would be something that would definitely be a little bit better in the face of that. Burn gets better because Deathrite Shaman is a card that allows Delver decks to have a much better burn matchup than they normally would. Because they allow the Delver deck to gain health. And like, while the burn deck is full of spells that can kill Deathrite Shaman, like, you don't want to be pointing your burn spells at creatures in the burn deck, generally speaking. Only Gitaxian Probe put things in the right spot on Magic Online. Let's take a picture here. Yeah, but there's more to burn than just Price of Progress. Maybe I should have played this other probe. Yeah, I probably should have just played this other probe. Yep. Alright. If they don't have another land here, this True-Name's probably going to be BGG no re. Choose you, Pikachu. Here's Mummy. Cast a Ponder, looking for a removal spell. This is perfect. Get to bolt this, and then flip my Delver to Gitaxian Probe next turn, and just keep running you down. Yep. They played longer than I probably would have mulliganing to 4, so... Let's onward, upward, backward, forward to the next one. Quick 2-0 start to the day. Not having an amazing board plan against Death and Taxes is maybe an oversight. Texas has been pretty popular online, especially since all the reprintings. It seems fine. Could definitely get burned, but it's certainly a keep. I'm actually not going to probe on one, because if they're a fast combo deck, I would like to pitch that probe to my Force of Will. We could just get Legacied out of this game if they just wasteland us. Yep. Definitely in danger of just getting Legacied. We are on a whopping 17 lands in our deck, so, you know, maybe we'll be lucky. Yep, I think this matchup's actually okay for us. Our particular hand is not great here, but I think in general this matchup is not terrible for us. So, hopefully we can steal some here. What is getting Legacied? Getting Legacied is getting wastelanded out of the game and just, like, never playing another spell. Sorry, that's a Jeffism that we use on this stream fairly often. It's like, welp, never get to play Magic. Just dead. Eventually we'll draw 2 lands for the price, right? Honestly, hitting a couple of running mountains would be really great, right? Am I forcing a gamble here? I think I am. I think I want to just keep them off of Loam. This is basically Demonic Tutor for Loam. They get to grab a card and then discard a card at random. No, don't reveal that card. So this is interesting. We know they have another Wasteland, so I probably want to hold this for now until I can find a basic to pair it with to jump up and use this Price of Progress. We know they have a Rishadan Port. No, they have Thicket, Depth, Stage, Wasteland right now. If I have a Wasteland and my opponent goes Volk, Delver, Go, I will Wasteland them 100% of the time. Like all of these Delver decks are more than greedy enough that you should always make that play, I think. All right, so we're getting 2020 next turn then. So we're just dead. All right, so True-Name doesn't actually look amazing in this matchup, but it's actually quite good. And the reason why it's quite good is because, what's the word I'm searching for? It can't die to Punishing Fire like a lot of our threats do. Daze is kind of mediocre here. Fork Bolt's pretty bad. Chain Lightning is a little bit of nice reach, but it's also kind of awkward that they can redirect it back at our stuff. Do I actually want some of these cards up here? I don't think this is a Smash to Smithereens matchup. Definitely Blood Moon, Surgical, Sulfuric Vortex, Daze. Daze is like okay, but at the same time, when we're bringing in 3-drops and like already have 3-drops, it makes Daze a lot less appealing. I guess I'm just gonna leave in 2 Chain Lightnings as extra reach. When in doubt, burn them out. Yeah, Miracles would be a fine donation deck project swap. I think that deck's really reasonable. I'd personally have a preference towards playing Jim Davis's build with the no counterbalances and the more basic lands, but if you really wanted to see a specific build other than that, I'd play it. But if you ask me my preference, I would start with Jim's build. I really liked what he did with the Archetype. Alright, seems pretty good. Nice and aggressive. See what our opponent's got going on here. I don't remember what his threat base was. I'm pretty sure he had Mentors in his main. I'm not sure what he was doing other than that. Alright. Triggers. I love when my cantrips deal a damage. And then next turn, we'll go Island, Ponder, Bolchu. And they'll take 6 total down to 11. And then we'll be pretty close to this Bedlam Reveler. They have a Ghost Quarter in their hand, but again, we have 5 basics in our deck, so... Yeah, he had back to basics in the main, yep. Yeah, back to basics in the main, and he only had 1 dual land, I believe. I think it was a Singleton Tundra, and then all fetches and basics. And Jim wasn't playing only 1 dual land for budgetary reasons. He was playing 1 dual land because that's what he felt was optimal. That's a good draw. I think I still just want to Ponder here. So their hand is Sheltered Thicket, Loam, Crop Rotation, Dark Depths, 1 card I don't know. Looking for Blood Moons and Pops here. These are all pretty terrible, so I'm going to any order and shuffle these for sure. Drew another brick. That's sad. Alright, so we're going to put him down to 10 here. Really just want to hit more spells, that way we can propel ourselves into this Bedlam Reveler here soon. But it has Crop Rot and Dark Depths, so we're actually getting comboed this turn, aren't we? That's really unfortunate for us. This means we want to draw Price of Progress to end the game. They could potentially just go for it. They get to go like Dark Depths. I guess Sheltered Thicket is tapped. That slows them down. They need an untapped land here. Mox Diamond will do it too. Yeah, so they can Crop Rot for a thing. Might just die here. That's funny. Death and Dex is a little bit harder matchup for this deck, and I think this matchup's pretty reasonable for us, but sometimes it just doesn't play out that way. Yeah, I think they're going to Crop Rot and just go for it now while I'm tapped out. Yeah, I believe we've lost the game, so they're just going to stage us now. It's a good line on the opponent's part. We're like more likely to have Wasteland than we are to have Jace the Mind Sculptor in our deck. We're on the effective 0 outer, right? Yep. A little bit too late. All right, you got me. Needs more Vapor Sag. Vapor Sag's actually a card I've played in this deck before. I think it's a fine card. Play like one or two of it. And again, like, you know, formats like Modern and Legacy are all about like picking which decks you're interested in having game against and which ones you aren't. I think Blood Moon gets to host some matchups that Vapor Sag doesn't. Vapor Sag's really kind of narrow. No, decks that's one of the reasons why Modern's just so much more enjoyable and diverse than Legacy is decks like Owling Mine that can be like, you know, pseudo or fringe competitive in Modern just like never stand a chance in a format like Legacy. Like the things that are good in C play and Legacy are just like so many light years better than the other things that you could possibly do. Like, it's funny, even though there's 25 years worth of cards that are Legacy legal, Legacy actually probably has a smaller playable card pool than Modern does overall, just because the concentration of cards that actually get played are so powerful, they render a good portion of the cards that are legal in the format completely obsolete. I'm so bad at flipping this card over. No, I don't think so. Really depends on the matchup. When you want to upkeep Brainstorm, like we are a more aggressive deck, so like I upkeep Brainstorm with this deck a lot more often than a lot of Delver decks that I play, but like with these two, I'll probably upkeep Brainstorm next turn. All right, so Fedabib, for those that are new to the stream, you were given a timeout because you made an ultimatum statement. You should have brainstormed in the upkeep because you're versus Reanimator. So instead of just telling me that and making me feel dumb and you feeling smart, you should say you should brainstorm in the upkeep and you're playing against Reanimator because what's the tell that tells me I'm guaranteed playing against Reanimator? Are you assuming just because my opponent played a Badlands they had to be Reanimator? Is that what we're going with? Yeah, Delver stops for you with the trigger, exactly. And it looks like we are playing against Reanimator here, but Badlands Go doesn't indicate Reanimator. It's just not, it's not guaranteed. Miracles, whatever list you please. Thank you for the Bits Project Swamp, I'll get that added. /27/18. All right, so I haven't played a land yet this turn. I think I'm gonna go ahead and flip these to Lightning Bolt. Yeah, we're gonna stack it. Bolt Wrath. Hopefully I just stacked it. I'm so bad at I always misstack Brainstorms when I'm talking shit. Sweet. I did stack it right. And then go ahead and cast this. Yes, this is a fringe / tier 2 legacy deck. It is by no means a tier 1 deck in the format, and I will not claim that it's a tier 1 deck in the format. I think it has some okay kind of neat matchups. I think it's, to set the bar exceedingly low, I think it's better than traditional burn in the format right now, but I don't think it's particularly good. If you ask me what legacy decks I think are particularly good, the list is very, very short because most decks people play on legacy are really bad. Exhume. Sure, you have a Gristle Brand. Please draw a bunch of cards. So we're going to go ahead and Thunderous Wrath our opponent, and then we'll attack them with everything, and we will... Oh, that's not going to work, is it? He didn't Daze the Entomb because they had a mana floating. They just mistakenly tapped both their lands. So do I want to... Why would I want to Daze my Thunderous Wrath? Why would I want to Daze my Thunderous Wrath? Yeah, I was going to say I can Thunderous Wrath them and then bolt whatever creature he blocks. But the problem is, if they block the Monastery Swiftspear, the Thunderous Wrath plus the Lightning Bolt make the Swiftspear a 3/4. Is the issue. Yeah, I think the line is actually just kill the Gristlebrand. That's a line 2 on Rogue's part. It kind of falls apart if they have like Collective Brutality or Thoughtseize there. Yeah, I think we're just like double spelling the Gristlebrand here. Wait, what? Oh, I'm still responding to this. This has to trigger happen. Okay. For those that are coming in late or missed it, I can't plan to bolt the thing that he blocks, because if he blocks the Monastery Swiftspear, the Swiftspear will have too much toughness for the Lightning Bolt to kill. You can see here it's a 3/4 right now, so that line is good. If the Swiftspear was going to be a 2/3, or if my opponent was loose, played a little loosey-goosey, it's possible that the better line here is Thunderous Wrath them, and then when they attack, block with Insectile Aberration and bolt the Insectile Aberration, and then untap and kill them. But that's really bad against Thoughtseize and Collective Brutality and Unmask, which are all cards that this deck often plays in the main deck. So worth it to Daze, so fetches or trump? I don't think so. I think I'd rather hold the Daze so that way I can Daze a potential spell out of them in the event that they do something like this where they like play cantrips into other stuff. Because, like, they need another 2-mana Reanimate spell here. Yep, there's an Exhume. Alright, we've got a bunch of live draws here. So, we got a bunch of cantrips, we've got bolts, we've got all sorts of things here. Draw land and die. True-Name. That's... I mean... Okay. Like, not great. It's not great, but I mean, like, it's better than drawing a land there, right? If they hit us, they go to 9, they're still dead on board. And remember, their deck doesn't have a ton of cantrips in it, and most of their Reanimate spells are Reanimator, like a third of them, which require them to lose health, so... Yeah. Yep. True-Name might still win us this game. I always felt like if you did well with Record Reanimator, your type was better served at a roulette table. I mean, the deck has some selection in it, right? Like, it's got access to Faithless Looting and stuff like that. Yeah, they need an Elder Norm, which they don't always have in their main deck, right? I'm pretty sure. Discarded Unmask and Reanimate. Dark Ritual. Yep. What we got? You flashing back a Faithless Looting here? Dig, dig, dig. Dig, dig, dig. All right. All right. Tidespout Tyrant doesn't do it. Tidespout Tyrant can't bounce True-Name Nemesis. Yeah. Alright, so Surgical and Flusterstorm. I think Sulfuric Vortex may or may not be okay. Pop's pretty bad here. Forked Bolt's pretty bad here. Some more cards to cut. Thunderous Wrath, you did good, son. You did good. You put Gristlebrand back in the discard pile. Is Vortex better than Fish? It might be better than Fish. Like, stops Gristlebrand from doing stuff, which is nice. It also hits sooner, right? Like, it basically has haste. You think Eidolon's good enough? I guess it's just a threat. It's probably better than Chain Lightning. Set the bar low. It's a weird legacy meta. Yeah, Eidolon's okay. I think it's better than some of these other things. I think it's probably better than, like, the random 3Us. Alright, let's do it. Seems pretty decent. Pretty decent. Put mulligan to 6. Okay, they stripped the force here, so I probably just want to go Volco. I have a second land. I'm just gonna go Volco here. I haven't played Standard. Last time I played Standard, I was casting Baral's Expertise and putting Bant Tameo into play. Demir Spy, thank you for the 2-month subscription. I really appreciate that. As always, subscriptions are the best way you can support what I do here, so thank you, thank you, thank you. This is so great. Just let me tell you about cards that are stupid and should be banned in every format. Gitaxian Probe. It's restricted in Vintage, it's banned in Modern. I don't know why it's still Legacy legal, but while it is, we'll play it, I suppose. Animate Dead, Cabal Therapy. They're actually getting pretty close to that Eidolon. That's pretty scary. The Animate Dead can't be Flusterstorm, which is pretty big. Alright, that's a Brainstorm. So I'm gonna go ahead and attack for 2 here. Are you ready? Bonesaw is ready. It's probably gonna be Cabal Therapy targeting themselves. Yep, so I'm gonna go ahead and Flusterstorm this. And the reason why I'm Flusterstorming this, even though they can pay for it, is because we're dead next turn. Or they'll get to, I can't Flusterstorm their Animate Dead. So I need to just, like, have them not be able to cast Animate Dead this turn. And then hopefully draw a Force of Will plus a blue card next turn. With this Brainstorm plus our draw step. The good news is that Eidolon kills pretty slowly. Got that going for us. So we're gonna put Eidolon in the bin. We also draw a Surgical Extraction. Yeah, rogue with the lines. 2 Animate Deads. Where's my Cabal Therapy? Where's my Cabal Therapy at? Another cantrip is good. Dig. Any order, shuffle, yep. They could also ban this card, or sorry, ban this card if they wanted to shake up Legacy a little bit. I think that's the card Sullivan talked about getting rid of, which seems reasonable. These are my Swiftspears. My Swiftspears are gonna do their best. I'm gonna put back a land and a Swiftspear here. I'm gonna play this. I'm gonna fetch for a Volk. Just gonna use this Swiftspear as a deal 2 here. We could hit exactly surgical here. We could hit exactly surgical. I love just there's just a 0% chance that Scry and Shuffle bugs exist on Magic Online, right? Just like no possible way that that's bugged. Oh, and with Animate Dead, this is actually gonna be a 3/7, right? That's pretty good for us. Duress, that's sad. They took my Thunderous Wrath. Alright. Oh, they took my Vortex. Never mind, sorry. Mixing those up. It's actually not, Crazy Eddie. It's really not. It's also just like, that's not how software works. It's not how, so like, it's possible for a bug to exist where it only happens when you have a 2 of, or it only happens when you have a 3 of. Like, software can be very complicated, especially chasing down issues in a, like, Magic Online, you know, for all the shit we give it, right? It's definitely a fairly complex piece of software, the things that it's doing. I guess I'm keeping. I am not excited to keep this because we don't have a clock, but Chancellor of the Annex, sure. No, it's really not. Just like it's all just like confirmation bias essentially. It's all just confirmation bias. That's kind of a clock. Faithless looting. So I'm gonna go ahead and counter this faithless looting, and the reason why I'm doing that is in general the Black Red Reanimator deck has more ways to get things out of the graveyard than they do to get things into the graveyard. So we just want to, if we can counter their lootings and we can counter their entombs, then we can just not care about the reanimate spells potentially. We're definitely not in an amazing spot here, just because, again, I've kept a hand that doesn't have any pressure in it, but I think, like, Fluster Force Double Daze is pretty hard to pass up. If we hit a land here, you get to play the Sulfuric Vortex, which with the Bolt does allow us to race. Alright. You got that going. I boarded my pops out, right? My pops, my blood moons are on the board. Yes, I'm just gonna go ahead and fetch a Volk here. Watch them blood moon us. Just be super tilted. They go land, flashback looting. I'm gonna daze it. Again, just like trying to keep their things out of the bin. They could also just like move to hand size here, right? They can just like wait 2 turns and move to hand size to get their thing into the bin guaranteed. They've seen that I'm willing to counterspell their discard outlet, so they might just like take the uncounterable discard outlet route of waiting to move to hand size. I mean, like, there's a reason why we often joke that this game is confirmation bias, The Gathering, right? Like, you ever hear people talk about, like, things that happen to them in tournaments? Like, just rife with confirmation bias all the time. That's targeting me. That's unfortunate. Yeah, do you know how many tests you have to run, though, to, like, have it be statistically significant? Also, again, like, a bug doesn't always, like, the hardest to chase down bugs don't happen every time. They're difficult to reproduce because they don't always happen. It's going to be a collective brutality. That would be pretty bad for us because it's an uncounterable discard outlet. Yeah, alright, so we're going to Daze this. And hope to draw a land next turn. We get like Spirit Guide got here. Okay, just land reanimate. Nope, that's good for us. Sorry. Looking for some action. What do you think, chat? How do we feel about that one? How do you feel about that one? Sideboard cards are decent. For those that are unfamiliar, Surgical is good here because my opponent's playing Magic the Gathering cards, and Surgical takes away Magic the Gathering cards. Yeah, I mean, like, the Sulfuric Vortex is our win condition here, right? So we just, like, want more ways to draw Disruption at this point. Flusters, Forces, blue cards for this force, Surgicals, these are all droids that we are looking for at this point in our lives. I'm probably just going to bolt them at end of turn because I want to get a little bit aggressive should we draw Bedlam Reveler. Seriously, they drew an Unmask? Alright, well, I guess I'm going to bolt you. And then I'm going to Surgical this Chancellor. It's like, where is their deck? There it is. Alright, so they have this Animate dead, and they're taking our Force of Will. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 fatties left in their deck. Nothing too particularly interesting in here. They have 1 Brutality left. Alright, and Gristlebrand kills us pretty quickly, I suppose. I say he's not even that good, but he's fine. Alright, so they're gonna take our Force of Will away. They'll probably play Bayou and flashback Faithless Looting. And they have Animate dead in hand. I guess I won't now. What's the card called in Hex? It's it makes a Chaos Tongue thing, right? They discarded Exhume. That's really good for us. Bedlam Reveler. Deal. Threats. Playing that Badlands was not good, right? Because if they draw Faithless Looting, they'd like to have that in their hand to loot away. Nope. I'm gonna go ahead and play this out because we can use it to shuffle after our Delver trigger next turn. Well, they don't have any more Chancellors in their deck. Oh, you're saying, why did I hit the $1 deck? Yeah, they had the Faithless Looting in the yard, so I don't want them to draw Chancellors with that Faithless Looting. So taking creatures out of their deck is ideal for us. So, Delver doesn't flip, but we get to crack this fetch land here. Grab a Volk, draw a card. Brainstorm, sign me up. Another Sulfuric Vortex. Yeah, that's fine, right? Have you considered playing real Delvers instead of Fugitive Wizards? We'll have to think about that for next match, perhaps. Got it. All right, sweet. 2-1 with Blue Red Delver Burn. Thank you, everyone, for hanging out here today. Welcome, welcome, welcome. If you're new, my name is Jeff Hoagland. I'm a full-time TCG player and content producer here on Twitch. I'm here 20, 30, sometimes 40 hours a week. If you're enjoying what you see, please consider subscribing on Twitch. My subscribers are the reason I'm able to do what I do as often as I do it. You can also support my content by supporting my sponsors. MTGOtraders.com would love to buy and sell some Magic Online cards with you. If you use code Hoagland PayPal at checkout with them, you'll save 8% on your singles orders there. CoolStuffInc.com buys and sells a lot of cool stuff, including TCG singles. Using promo code Jeff5, you can save 5% on Magic, Pokemon, and Yu-Gi-Oh cards with them. InkedGaming.com would love to help you customize your gaming experience using code Jeff12. You can save 12% on custom playmats, mouse pads, binders, and bags with them. And finally, this stream is made possible by viewers like Anoronics and you. Anoronics like to remind you, at the very least, make sure you hit that follow button. It doesn't cost you anything. It lets you know when I go live and with what. I always do my best to put what decks we're going to be playing on a given day in the stream title. And then if you can't catch it live, you can check out my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Jeff Hoagland. All of my videos get cut up there by deck and by format, so you can watch just the stuff that you care about. For instance, this is the third or fourth time I think we've played this archetype on stream this year. So if you're interested in seeing more matches played out with iterations of this deck, you should check out my YouTube channel after the stream's done today and find lots more leagues there. You should change your name on Sunday to Jeff Owlett during the 12-hour stream. I think we're going to go with Hootland, H-O-O-T land. It's more subtle. It's small. We did get the owl emote added. Sunday's my birthday and I can't watch Owling Mine on my 28th. I mean, you could. You could also watch it after the fact. Remember, the whole 12 hours of Owling Mine. I'll head to the YouTube channel for sure. Hopefully we manage to sneak onto camera in costume in Milwaukee. And if I do, I expect lots of Hootlands in chat. I'm gonna go back and check and see what the chat is. I have faith though. Look at my ugly face in that owl costume. It's so great. It's so great. Oh, legacy match. Why you take so long to find? I just want to play Magic. I've been sitting. I was sitting this morning. I've been sitting for the first hour. We should stand up, right? My fat ass could stand to lose some weight, burn some calories while standing. Enjoy the ride, chat. Got my Portillo shirt on, which is probably part of the reason I could stand to lose some weight. I would love to play first. It's against Daze. This hand does run the risk of getting Legacied if they wasteland us on one, but if we don't get Legacied, this hand is pretty good, or if we just draw an island. As a vegetarian, what do you get from Portillo's? So, their cheese fries are excellent, their cake shakes are A+, and then as far as like an actual meal goes, they have, they're only like $1. They'll sell you just all the vegetable toppings on a hot dog bun, or they also have both hot and cold veggie sandwiches. One's on a croissant. Mother of Runes. Are you playing a Mother of Runes deck? It really makes me wonder sometimes, like, what? Like, you're sitting down to play Legacy, a format where you can do all of the most powerful things that Magic has to offer. And you know what you're like? You're like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to play Mother of Runes. Hey, the Do Nothing with the brand new Twitch Prime support. Thank you very much. I appreciate that, as always. Subscriptions are the best way you can support what I do here. So I think I'm just going to toss these Brainstorms on top of my deck here. And then I'm going to go ahead and play this Mountain. And I'm going to Chain Lightning this. Exclusively for Portillo's. It's great. So the question is, do I want to Daze a Thalia or a turn 2 play here? I'm probably pretty obligated to Daze a Stoneforge Mystic. I think I'm going to let a Thalia resolve if that's their play, though. Wasteland's kind of annoying. But I do have a Brainstorm and I have another land in my hand, so that's fine. Hopefully they just play a 2-drop here, and then hopefully they play Thalia, and then I get to untap and windmill a True-Name Nemesis. Green Sun Zenith. Yep. In general, do you prefer Legacy or Modern in terms of how enjoyable the format is to play? I think, in my very subjective opinion, Modern is a much better format than Legacy right now. Legacy, because it's not really managed with a ban list, the cards that are good in Legacy tend to be much, much better than all of the other cards that see play in the format, which kind of so even though Legacy has more total cards that are technically legal in it, the number of playable cards in this format tends to be lower than some of the other formats Magic has to offer, just because of, cards like Delver of Secrets and Brainstorm and Ponder. Like, these cards are so powerful that they render a lot of other cards obsolete by being legal. And now I'm not saying that you should ban or change anything in Legacy. I'm just saying that I feel like that's how the format works. And if you enjoy the format, that's fine. I do enjoy playing Legacy in general. We just don't play it a ton because, there's more diversity in Modern for sure. Shouldn't you have left Mountain True-Name Nemesis? Well, True-Name is double blue, so I really don't want to draw Mountain. Oh, geez, they don't have another land. That's really good for us. When I think of Stoneblade in Legacy, I think it's one of the many decks people play that's much worse than decks like Grixis Delver. I'm going to any order shuffle here, right? I just want another blue source. Let's probe you. Oh, they have a Dark Depths, they just didn't play it. We're going to bolt the ever-living crap out of the Striad Arbor here in a second, I think. We're going to bolt the ever-living crap out of the Striad Arbor. Smash you for 4. You give more or less good cards in Legacy versus Vintage. I don't have enough experience playing Vintage to have a realistic or fair, read on the format and how it plays out and what's good, bad, or otherwise. Yeah, nice Mother of Runes opponent. Ka-cha, ka-cha. All right, so this is certainly a Blood Moon matchup, right? Just get in my deck. And we saw Batterskull in their hands, so they are on Stoneforge Mystics, so we'll bring in Smash and Null Rod. I'm Rel with the 2-month Tier 1 resubscription. Thank you very much for the continued support, and welcome back. I do appreciate that. Pretty easy. Board out my 7 pieces of counter magic and submit. Now, personally, that's something I love about the format. I think Zach Coach had a good quote. For your deck to be good, you need to determine a strategy and then make your deck the absolute best way. Otherwise, it's not going to be competitive. Yeah, and that's fine. Do you think a Modern Blood Moon ban will make the format better? Yes. I think removing Blood Moon and Tron lands from Modern will make the format more enjoyable for a lot of people. Back no with the Twitch Prime sub. Thank you very much for sending your Amazon Fun money this way this month. I do appreciate it. I decided not to play Legacy in Cincinnati on Sunday because I made an adult decision. We had snow across Cincinnati, Indiana, and Illinois on Saturday, and it was going to get above freezing during the day on Sunday and then get below freezing over the evening, which makes for really, really rough road conditions. There's gonna be a lot of ice out that evening, so I decided to play it safe rather than setting another $40 on fire in a classic and drive home without slipping and sliding for 4.5 hours. I'm too old to almost die at Magic tournaments. I've almost died at Magic tournaments more times than I care to count. So there's always, you can't remove every feel bad from the format. That's just not possible, right? There's always going to be some amount of things that make some amount of people unhappy. And I think by and large, decks like Bogles and Storm are easier to interact with than things like Blood Moon and Tron lands are, because we just don't print good land destruction anymore. Which is there's a reason why we don't print good land destruction anymore. This is the part of the stream where there's usually someone that tells me that Wasteland is the solution to Tron and Modern. And as someone who's gotten Wastelanded out of plenty of games of Legacy, I don't want to get Wastelanded out of games of Modern. It just creates a lot of non-games. Again, my goal, if I was in charge of managing the ban list, would be to encourage as many actual interactive games of Magic as possible. Do I want to reveal this card? No. God, I'm so bad at flipping this turd over. And now we're like 10 out of 10 getting wastelanded, right? Am I supposed to Chain Lightning them here? Probably not. Land destruction is just one of those mechanics that tends to fall in the metric of land destruction that's playable is too good and creates miserable games of Magic, and land destruction that's not good enough just, like, you know, isn't competitive, right? Yeah, I agree with that assessment. That's why I said the solution to Tron isn't print Wasteland. I think that's a miserable, terrible idea. It's very possible I should have just sent that Chain Lightning upstairs last turn. If we flip this here, though, we could be in a racing position here. Yeah, Dampening Sphere from a game design perspective is a fantastic card to have being introduced to Modern as a format. It solves part of the we don't have enough sideboard slots issue that you frequently hear people complain about in Modern. Geez, we're just gonna get them here, huh? If they don't find a Swords to Plowshares, or they don't have a Maze of Ith, they could have a Maze of Ith. But, like, next turn, we're gonna get to go, like, fetch some stuff up, slam this Sulfuric Vortex, just get ya. I know Modern Ponza has had a bunch of results recently, but I don't think Modern Ponza is actually a particularly good deck. It's very bad when people are able to interact with it on the board, and the only reason Ponza's even remotely close to playable is because Blood Moon's such a fucked Magic card. Like, if you're playing Blood Moon and you're playing ways to play it on turn 2, it really doesn't matter how comically unplayable the rest of your deck is. Because turn 2 Blood Moons are going to win you a significant number of games of Magic. All right, so they can do this twice. No, I don't have a list in the queue currently with 4, so I don't think Stifle's very good in Legacy right now. Would I rather play True-Name Nemesis, or would I rather play Sulfuric Vortex here? I don't think stacks decks are important for a healthy metagame. I disagree with that. I think Modern's perfectly fine right now, and I don't like playing things that discourage one player from playing a game at all. Strategies that prevent a player from making relevant decisions in a TCG, I think, are bad TCG gameplay. I think good TCG gameplay, fun TCG gameplay, and fun is subjective, so this is my opinion, encourages both players to be able to make relevant decisions during their match of Magic. Do we die to Merit Liege? That's an interesting question. They do get to Merit Liege us this turn, don't they? They get to Merit Liege us this turn. No, they don't get to Merit Liege us this turn, right? Because they don't have enough mana to activate it. I start by attacking with both of these and seeing what they do. See if they have a Maze of Ith in their deck or not. Yes. If I was in charge of the Modern ban list, Birthing Pod would be legal along with a bunch of other cards that are currently banned. Whoa, they went to 5. That's really good for us. We have streamed Pauper in the past. I have 1 Pauper donation deck in the queue right now. Should we get more Pauper donation decks in the queue, we will do another Pauper day. I mostly just play whatever people send me money to play these days. Yeah, that's true too, Smirmy dude. I didn't actually think about that in the strict sense, but you're right that the downtick in Ghost Quarter is definitely good for the Utopia Sprawl decks, right? Things that, it actually kind of is shorter to just list the things that aren't safe on bans, right? The cards that deserve to stay on the ban list are like Umezawa's GTA and Skull Clamp and Punishing Fire and Rite of Flame and Chrome Mox. Those are the cards that I think are just, those should stay on the ban list and we should leave them there. Probably. I don't guarantee whether or not I'll play something without seeing a deck list firsthand, because sometimes people describe something and they send me a deck list and it's just like, so. Yeah, and it's okay to enjoy them. Like, that's fine. And that's honestly, that's what I think Legacy should be compared to Modern, is Legacy should be the place where you go to, you know, Charbelcher people and play your Blood Moons against people and play your Chalice of the Voids against people. Like this format can be the degenerates paradise, right? The place where you go to play the games of Magic that just, like, aren't modern card design. Yeah, Twin would be a card that I don't think is too powerful for Modern. I would be A-okay with that. They're just going to go ahead and make it 2020 now. Mental Misstep is a miserable Magic card that just shouldn't be legal. It shouldn't be legal for much of the same reasons that Gitaxian Probe shouldn't be legal. So, Gite isn't that powerful in Legacy, but it would be more powerful in a format like Modern. The same thing with a card like Punishing Fire, because Modern is a very creature-based format. Modern is a very creature-based format. Would like to Chain Lightning you. Would like to attack you with my True-Name. Sweet. We're 3-1. Let's get him. Let's get him, chat. We died to lands, which I actually think is an okay matchup, but cash the league at least. No, Deathrite Shaman shouldn't be legal in Legacy, and I definitely don't want to play with it in Modern. Definitely no desire to have Deathrite Shaman be legal anywhere. Yes, that is true. And they're the creature-based matchups, so, like, Modern is a very creature-based format. Deathrite Shaman, if they ever wrote a case study on power levels of cards being format contextual, just like comparing Deathrite Shaman in Legacy to Standard is just like would be such a good example of it. Yeah, the fetch lands are definitely huge enablers, right? Like, fetch lands are the reason that cards like Dig Through Time and Treasure Cruise were pushed. They're the reason why Deathrite Shaman is too powerful. They make Brainstorm as good as it is. This hand's okay. We have 3 lands, but, like, we have our True-Name, so, like, we want 3 lands for that. We have a Force of Will in case our opponent is playing something unfair. We have a Brainstorm to kind of sculpt our hand depending on which cards are going to be good and which cards are going to be bad. The only thing I have to say about Mental Misstep is it makes Spellstutter Sprite playable, which I personally love. Is this a third Mother of Runes deck? No. Maybe? Glistener. Okay. Definitely not Mother of Runes deck. Alright. Was I supposed to force that? I don't know. There's a possibility I was supposed to force that. Nope. Was not supposed to force that. Alright. Again, take a picture. This is my least favorite part about playing Legacy on Magic Online, is I have to constantly take screenshots. It's a good draw. Do I want to just burn this? Yeah, I'm just going to burn this now. I agree with Rogue's assessment there. I think no fetch lands in Legacy would be a death knell for the format, just because suddenly everyone would need 4 Underground Seas and 4 Volcanic Islands to build optimal mana bases, and there just physically aren't enough of these cards in existence for everyone to have 4 of them. Deathrite Shaman is just a mana dork. Noble is better. You know what? I'm just gonna ban that person. Look, this is a very important lesson for everybody in chat. Not everybody you meet in your adult life and interact with is worth having a conversation with. There's some people that they've just got brass nuts strapped to the back of their pickup truck, and no amount of logic and reasoning is going to allow you to get through and connect with them. No amount of logic and reasoning. So just don't waste your time. Don't slam your head into that wall. Just
Just walk away if they're in person, mute them if they're on social media. It's fine. Your life will be much happier for it. In this game, we're going to put this Polluted Delta back. How far are we off this Bedlam Reveler is the question I need to ask myself. Admiral No-Beard was saying some stupid stuff too. So, some things are subjective. Some things are subjective. Other things are objectively wrong. One of the biggest things I hate about our current society, and honestly my generation, is that there's a lot of people that they'll just be like, let's just agree to disagree, man. It's like, well, no, you're objectively wrong. Like this is a right and wrong situation, and you're telling me that 2 + 2 in a modulo 10 system isn't 4. And it's just like, no, it's always 4 in a base 10 system. Sorry. All right, anywho, what are we doing here? What are we doing? All right, your clock is pretty good with True-Name and Chain Lightning. That's true. So they played Ink Moth, they played Glistener. They have another Glistener Elf, a Dryad Arbor, and then one card I don't know. 2 + 2 = fish. Yep. Modulo, that's my safe word. All right, that's true. Or usually up. All right, am I putting the Bedlam back? Am I putting the Bedlam back? This is spell 3. This is spell 4. I could probably Bedlam 2 turns from now. Yeah, I'm actually going to put the True-Name back. I'm going to put the True-Name back. I'm going to crack this fetch. I'm going to Chain Lightning. Maybe I should have kept the True-Name and pitched that to the Force. Do this. Awesome, Crater Dumb. I'm glad, Karate Dumb. I'm glad you're enjoying yourself. Maybe I was supposed to put this other Chain Lightning back. All right, so they have... Wow, did they draw Pump Spell? Nope, that's just Glistener Elf. All right. What's going on, Minds Over Matter? Well, I've been here. If you're looking to catch up on some of my Magic content, there's a lot of it. My YouTube channel, youtube.com/Fogun, you can find a whole heck of a lot of stuff there. I'm going to lead on this Brainstorm here and see where we get. We're really looking for a Lightning Bolt at this point, right, to interact with this. Second Bedlam Reveler is not particularly good. I'm going to throw this back. I'm going to throw this land back. I'm going to crack this fetch land. The question is, I'm going to wait on... Am I waiting on this probe? Do I want to hold the probe to pitch to Force? So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I think I'm going to go ahead, because I had Chain Lightning for it. And the Chain Lightning wasn't doing a whole lot. I'm going to cast this Probe here, because if I draw a 1-mana spell, I want to be able to play it here. They have Invigorate, Arbor, Daze. Sure, go. I am forcing basically anything this turn, because I just want to get this spell out of my hand, because I'm going to Bedlam Reveler next turn. Unfortunately, I don't think they're going to play their Invigorate, which kind of sucks for me. Yeah, it's good to line on them. I'm pretty sure I'm just windmilling the Bedlam Reveler. I want to get a clock going. It's a Delver. Yeah, I'm just going to go Delver, windmill this Bedlam. There are definitely lethal draws we could have next turn. It's a Forked Bolt. Alright, so that ended up poorly for us. We could definitely die this turn because I played the Bedlam Reveler, but I also just, like, need to kill my opponent. So I think it's correct to do what I did there, even if we die. So if they drew like a Berserk or something here, we could just eat it. Hopefully they're conservative if they drew that. Yep, hopefully we just take 2 here. Yep, ding. Alright, so I put a stop on my upkeep so I can crack this fetch land here in case we don't like the card that's on top of our deck. Is that lethal? 8, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. That's lethal, right? This is 9 with prowess. This is 3. That's exactly lethal, right? This is 9, 12, 15, 18, right? 9, 12, 15, 18. No, this is 3, chat, because Bedlam Reveler gets a prowess trigger. This is 3 because Bedlam... That's why I was counting price of progress is 9 because it's 8 plus 1, etc., etc. For those that weren't following how I was counting the math I was doing there, I was counting the prowess trigger in with the spell I was casting. Smash to Smithereens is actually okay here because it kills Inkmoth Nexus, and we don't actually have that many things that kill Inkmoth Nexus in our deck. So I think I want the Eidolons, the Flusterstorms, and the Smashes. What am I trimming here? What am I trimming? Is this a Blood Moon matchup? This is probably a Blood Moon matchup, huh? I'm gonna cut Thunderous Wrath. I'm gonna cut these Dazes. This True-Name's a little slow. Yeah, maybe this is just better. Pyroblast is actually pretty good, right? It counters their cantrips and kills Inkmoth, or kills Blighted Agent. So I think I want all of these cards. I don't think I want Daze. Yeah, I kind of just want to play to the board a little bit more, right? So I think I want to do this. I'm a professional content producer. Let's go with that. I am objectively a professional content producer. You can discuss what the details of being a professional Magic player entails and whether or not I meet that criteria personally, but I am certainly a professional content producer. I think this is 60. I wouldn't mind having one or both of these other forces back in here, but I kind of like all of the cards I have in my deck right now. Like I'm a professional cosplayer. Yeah, we'll do definitely getting in on that one. A goddamn professional to be exact, right? I don't think True-Name's actually that good. It only blocks Glistener Elf, and we have a lot of ways to do Glistener Elf. I've never played on the promotional tour, and some people argue that you have to play on the promotional tour to be a professional player. But I promote Magic in other ways other than playing on a tour. Yeah, I think I'm gonna board like this. Maybe I'm gonna trade. Let's do this. I'm gonna leave one Force in and leave one Flusterstorm out on the draw because Force, like the tempo from having Force, could be valuable. Owl costume is a uniform. I like it. The P doesn't stand for promotional. Look, you can put lipstick on a pig and tell me it's not a pig, but it's still a fucking pig. Morrow can tell you that pro doesn't stand for promotional, but guess what? The money for the promotional tour comes out of the advertising budget for Wizards of the Coast. That's why there hasn't been an increase in money for the promotional tour in decades. Because it's a promotional tournament to promote Magic the Gathering. Them's just the facts, chat. Them's just the facts. We were talking about facts earlier. Those are factual statements I just made. Alright, speaking of facts, factual, we're gonna crack this here fetch land, grab a Volcanic as land, chain lightning the crap out of this Noble Hierarch. Do I want to ponder here or do I want to delver? I kind of want to ponder so I can get to this Blood Moon next turn. Well, that's fantastic, right? I just want all of these cards. Chain Lightning and Modern Thoughts. I don't know, it seems fine. For the record, I think Morrow's interactions with the communities are excellent. I think he's a great community figurehead to have, but I used his name because his reference where he explicitly says the P doesn't stand for promotional is one that people always reference when I call it the promotional tour. Regardless of what Wizard says it's called, it is objectively a promotional event. Yeah, I think the Mono Red Prison deck's a very reasonable metagame legacy deck, and I'm going to be writing a primer on the configuration that I played and talk about why I made some of the card choices that I did for Gathering Magic this week. I mean, like, but that's kind of to be expected, I think, Chris. Like, he wasn't hired to be a community manager, right? Like, he's not a PR person. He was hired to make Magic the Gathering, right? Wow, this Wasteland is really bad for us. I could have played around that by fetching Basic Mountain, but man, that's brutal. That's brutal. I wonder if they're ghosting. Maybe their hand just doesn't do anything. God, that's so brutal. I know there's a bolt on top of my deck, so I guess I'm just playing this, and then we flip it next turn and then hope to draw a red source. Yeah, they usually only have one Wasteland, which is why I chose not to play around it, because I was like, we might need the extra blue mana here at some point. Gotta use your words, Eddie. Otherwise, take a timeout. Them's the rules. Yeah, maybe I just like the chance of me needing the extra blue there was so low that I just should have played around their one Wasteland. Regardless of if they're watching our screen or not, we got Wastelanded, so we need to try and play a game now. Yeah, and like, I'd be interested in like, is it worth playing around there? And maybe the answer is yes, and I just messed up. I'd be willing to accept that I just shouldn't have played around it there. It was a mistake to have played around it. I assume we're just gonna die here. I assume our game is going to end. The way they played the first game, they definitely played around like lightning bolts that I didn't have in my hand. So that's probably a fair assessment. I should have just been a little bit more conservative with my fetch land and found a Basic Mountain there. I mean, they probably just kept in Wasteland because they didn't think about cutting a land. I've definitely played decks like the opponent's deck before, and like, cutting the utility land is something that's really easy to slip your mind. Especially if you're doing other things while you're playing like people often are. Red Sorcerer cantrip. Red Sorcerer cantrip. Alright, so you're saying there's a chance. It's pretty good. You guys want to Chain Lightning here, right? But Counterspell, I don't think Counterspell fixes any of Modern's problems. Like, the issues Control decks have in Modern aren't fixed by printing the card Counterspell. It kind of sucks to shuffle the rest of those away, but I think it's right to just, like, spend my removal this turn. I'm actually going to hold this back and try and trade with this Glistener Elf, I think, because if I can take their threats off the table, the Blood Moon will just steal the game. Like, against the really unfair Degenerate decks in Modern, Mana Leak is an easier to cast Counterspell, and Mana Leak doesn't help them. Like Counterspell isn't suddenly going to make blue-white better against Dredge. It's not going to... It'll make it marginally better against Burn, but not significantly. What do you see as the major problem for Control in Modern? Or, sweet, are we just trading... Are we going to trade here? Just going to Pendelhaven and trade? That'd be pretty good for us. That's decent. So hopefully we draw either a land to play around Daze or a blue card to pitch to this Force. Just gonna slam this. It's possible I'm supposed to wait till I can fight over this with Force. Their hand could just be a bunch of pump spells and they're planning to win with the Inkmoth Nexus. They could also just be flooding out. Wonder what they drew for the turn. Wonder what they drew for the turn. I'm going to start sending these red spells upstairs so that way we can just get our damage in. Or kill these Glistener Elves. I assume they're going to force this, then I'll untap and kill it again on my turn. Yeah, there's a few cards I think that could be pulled off the Legacy ban list. Like, why is Squirrel Nest banned? Why is Squirrel Nest banned? Oh, they had to have drawn the Brainstorm. Yeah, that's a really good deduction, Rogue. That's actually a quite fantastic deduction. Nope, don't reveal Delver. I should really just, like, cut these Delvers and play, like, a 1/1 for 1 with upside. For those of you that aren't familiar, Earthcraft is the card. Yeah, it pairs with Squirrel Nest. Did I say Squirrel Nest? I meant that. All right, at any rate, that's it's a 4/1. We got a QP. That's sweet. I'm running out of tickets, so Legacy Day is a good day for farming tickets usually, because a lot of these cards are really 10 out of 10 should stay banned. I like this blue-red Delver deck a lot. This is a deck that I almost considered playing for Cincinnati, but it's just like a touch too fair for something I wanted to take to a big tournament. If you're a fan of playing a burn-style strategy in Legacy, I think traditional burn is pretty bad in Legacy right now, and I think this deck with the blue splash kind of gives you the extra tools that this kind of archetype really needs to be successful in the format. I'm pretty happy with a lot of my main deck decisions. The flex slots that I'm not 100% sure on right now are this Thunderous Wrath and this Fork Bolt. The rest of these cards that are just like mostly 4-ofs here and like this 2/2 split, I'm really happy with all of these. So like this core of cards, if you want to pick this deck up, I think these are excellent. You should be playing them. These 7 cards you could kind of bend and change depending on how much fair and unfair things you plan to play against. Yeah, I've played Pyroblast in this slot before. Thunderous Wrath is better in the fair matchups though, because you're not like losing your lands. Like if you get your Fireblast Force of Will and they don't die in a fair matchup, you're usually going to lose the game. This sideboard, as I mentioned, as constructed, we're like 2 cards light on having enough cards against Death and Taxes. So if you're expecting a lot of Death and Taxes, I would maybe cut like these Eidolons or the Flusterstorms or the Surgicals or something like that to have more cards for that style of matchup. Look, I'm going to call it Thunderous Wrath until I die. Just, it is how it is. Yeah, we actually, if you go back on my YouTube channel, we played Storm Chaser Mage a little bit in this archetype in some of the earlier leagues that we played, and Storm Chaser Mage is just like really unimpressive in my opinion. It just like doesn't do really what I want it to do, and I'd rather just like play True Names and play more Reach. So that's basically what I've replaced them with. True Name's a really Magic card. If you are playing a fair blue deck in Legacy, play True-Name Nemesis. Just play True Name. It's very, very good. It's very good. Your thoughts on Imperial Painter? Haven't played it recently, but doesn't seem... If it was good, it would probably be putting up results. All right, what are we doing? All right, so that wraps this. If you didn't catch